You never heard this before in the first 10 years.
You listen to one Dead show like this and you're like, these guys are the masters. These guys are the absolute masters of re-entry, of landing, of transitions. Like,
Phil came back in, and then Bobby came in and took over basically and steered them back. Welcome back to Wook Club. I am the Great Wet, joined by T and Mr. Brian Anderson, author of The Wall of Sound, an incredible book. We have an interview up with him. We get way into it. Incredible book about one of the greatest achievements in concert sound ever.
And last one we did was a big Wall of Sound show, last Wook Club Dead show that we did. And Brian, I know you were going to come on with us, but you weren't able to. Thank you for coming on tonight, because this is another raging show. But that last one really spoke to the Wall of Sound too, and it was a lot of fun listening to it after talking to you and going through the book and stuff, and then kind of like really, and even seeing the picture of Billy in the slot and knowing that like he was, had to be moved, and it was so funny watching it all and like listening to it. So
yeah, Des Moines 74, amazing show,
amazing.
But 10/31/91 though, woo. Let's get scary.
I mean,
how do you way apart, many years apart, like 17 years apart or whatever?
Yeah,
I feel like there are shades of that time in it. I mean, Mickey's there obviously in 91, so the drum thing isn't there, but I feel like having the Gary Duncan, we'll get into all this, really opened them up for some of that. The Truckin in the smokestack or Spoonful, whatever it is.
We'll get there. Spoonful, yeah. What's interesting too about this show is it really is like, especially for 91. I mean, it's such almost like a greatest hits show. Like, I mean, you're getting a Help Slip Frank to open, you're getting a Scarlet Fire in the second set. I mean, it's almost like a plethora. You're overwhelmed. You're like, oh my gosh, like
it is
of all of this, and a Dark Star in there too, which was again like what, like
Dark Star sandwich too.
Yeah, sandwich. A two-parter. Like
crazy.
I always had a thing about opening with the Help Slip and closing with Let It Grow. I know they did it in 94 once at a set in Arizona too, but I was always like, that's just incredible. It's like two of their most important, pieces just hanging out together.
Yeah.
And it's interesting though, because it's a holiday show, and it made me think of, I was in the car listening to it, and I was thinking, would you rather go to, like, let's say, I mean, you can't compare Dead and Fish, but talking like, is it more fun to go to like a Fish Halloween where they're doing a cover and, do all the why and the madness that ensues, or would you prefer to go like a Dead Halloween where it wasn't straight, but it was more magic? You know what I mean? It was very magical in the sense that you got sets like this, or like it was a special show in its own, in the set list and the playing and all of that, but very straightforward-ish. You know what I mean? Like, it had its moments, but it was much more of a straightforward show. So if Fish was to do that, and let's say Fish opened with like a straight Mike's Pog, Mike's Hydrogen Pog, and did something like, and closed with an Antelope, and did like their massive whatever for a Halloween show, would it have the same effect, or would we be missing that cover? You know what I mean? Type
you
thing.
Expect it now from them.
That's kind of what the problem is, and you never really expected that with a Dead. So
yeah. I mean,
so this is
go. Yeah,
no,
I mean, I
was
gonna say too, with like I was thinking about Halloween Dead when I was just sort of like getting in the zone for this, and I mean, there's such a like rich tradition that goes back to 1966, right? I think the Dead did a dozen Halloween shows over the years: 66, 67, 69, 70, 71. 79, 80, 83, 84, 85, 90, 91, I think. So I think this is the last Dead Halloween show, which is sort of like interesting to think about.
That is interesting. Yeah. And it's a hell of a one to go out on. You know what I mean? Like, like you're like, it's a good one to leave, because you're like, I'm glad they didn't have another one that you're like, to look like 91 was like, you know what I mean, afterwards. So it kind of is appropriate that it was that way.
Right. I also feel Halloween is just the most deadly holiday, really. There's it's tricks and misfits and pranks, right? It's just like, it so feeds into the Dead in the lore and all of it, right? It just feels
Mhm.
so perfect for a Dead show to happen on Halloween.
And they played a lot of like random holidays too, like Chinese New Year shows and
They
like
were always good. In
right,
fact,
right,
they
exactly.
did Mardi Gras run. It was January was the Chinese New Year. February was always Mardi Gras, or the first week in March when it was real late.
Yep.
So that way they got to play home court every month,
Right.
3 shows kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, this was Brent's first show. I mean, the first Halloween without Brent.
Right.
All right, let's pull up the set list because that's really is a statement of intent, like T was saying to open.
Yeah.
Just the Slipknot is unusually fluid. I feel like for this period, sometimes it feels like they almost had to take a breath to catch where they were. I felt like this one just existed like it should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead, T.
Speak.
Go ahead.
No, please, you.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like a Help Slip Frank opener meant that you knew the Dead were feeling game from the top. Like that's what that signals to me. Interesting too. I think this was the second year back to back Help Slip Frank opener on Halloween.
Right. Well, it was 89. It would have been 89 because 90 they didn't do Halloween because Brent had died.
I thought
And they did the.
I thought they did Wembley in London in that. I could have the date wrong.
Oh, maybe they did. Maybe they did. It might have been the 30th though.
Oh, okay. It could be. Yeah. But I mean, regardless.
Chat? Anybody in chat? Who's helping
Anybody
us?
in the chat?
It was. No, they did do Wembley, October 31st,
Did they?
1990.
Okay.
Yeah,
There you go.
you're right. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
So interesting. Yeah. 2 years in a row, Helps Slip Frank opener. Also, yeah.
What's funny about that is doing Werewolves of London to close this show a year after playing in London for Halloween the year before.
Exactly.
That's some fun. That's like a funny little twist there.
Total. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And the most appropriate song of the night too. I felt like with Halloween, like that's kind of the songs you kind of want to lean into, right? Like Werewolves, you're like perfect ending. Perfect.
Yeah,
ending.
no, it's kind of like the closer everyone's kind of expecting and like kind of waiting for too. Yeah.
Right.
Tom Thumb Blues is a little dystopian world, kind of Halloweeny, scary. All the characters running around in it, making you think too much.
Yeah, right.
Let's
303 says the first downbeat from Help was so solid, and it's so solid. Like it's so true. Like just stepping into that, especially coming out of the gate. Like how we always talk about when the lights go down at a Dead show and you get that extra energy kicks in because you're already so buzzing. It's like no other thing in the world we've talked about. Like the whole walking, everything is like extra, and then the lights go down, you're like, oh shit, here we go, and then they come on and do their tinkering and tinker, and you're like, I love the tinker, like this is the best.
Bill in that beginning, my god, that
and then when they
you can hear the
right scream. And then they drop into something, and it's like when they drop into a Bertha or when they drop into a Help to open a show, you're just like, woohoo. Like
that's how I imagine the wall of sound would have sounded, though. You can hear in the beginning of that Help everything so clearly, each one of them. What's that Dolby Atmos? If that existed back then, you could almost be like putting the pieces out there.
Totally. Yeah. And
sure.
Kev said like when Kev Bo Jones, when Jerry starts that strum for the Help on the Way, it's just it's
so
you're like, oh, it's happening.
It sets the tone. Also, like Phil just like comes out swinging right out of the gate here. I love it. So good.
Yes, agreed. I mean, it's a hell of an opener, and they sound so solid. And Kevin and I talk about sometimes how openers it sort of sets not just the tone, but like it can be a warm up for what's to come, or like let's get under.
You don't pick the right opener, you can blow a set. You can blow a set by not picking it. I mean,
but to come out guns blazing with something like this, you're like, oh wow, okay, like there's no warm up, like we're in it.
Yeah,
people cringe at Rooster, but this was a really solid version. I feel like at this point Bobby had become competent when the slide guitar, and it wasn't as egregious, say it like in 1980 when you're like, dude, you take a few lessons first, man. Come on.
Yeah, talk about terrifying, like an early Bobby slide, right? That's spooky for Halloween.
That's spooky.
Yeah. I thought it was like I was sort of thinking about it too, like this show, it doesn't, on average, I don't think it has any more covers than the average Dead show, but like it being Halloween, it just felt at times kind of like this show was the Dead's version of like dressing up like another band and like doing an entire set of covers or something, which is like something that other bands do. Like a lot of punk bands do that, but like right out of the gate, we're getting like a first cover and then a bunch more to come. Right. So there's something about like, wearing the mask, playing another, like somebody else's song. Right. Just feeds into the whole evening. Right.
The whole thing. And I told Kev earlier, I was like, this is one of those Little Red Roosters where Bobby was really in control of it, and I felt like almost 9 minutes. Like it had a nice little jammy section in it too, and he didn't.
Well, they had Bruce too. Bruce got to do his solo, so they had a Vince solo, a Jerry solo, a Bobby solo, a Bruce.
Yeah,
solo.
In it, and you didn't get too much Velveeta Bob in this. Like he didn't go crazy like he does later when they do the last time, and he gets all Bobby crazy.
He was too lazy to crow.
And has like, I'm glad like this Little Red, because he's done a couple of those Roosters. Like I even was out.
I love that. I always look forward to that. I know some people are like, dude, come on. I'm like, scream, Bobby, lose your voice, man.
Yeah, you love it. Yeah, he's a bit more restrained here.
Yeah, it was a very restrained, contained Rooster, I thought, which worked though really well. I thought it was really solid because a lot of times you'll see that and you're like, oh boy, where's this one? How Bobby is he going to get in this? And I thought it was really well. Like really well played.
Right. Yeah. That would have been cool, Kev Bell, a Rooster at Dead 60. Definitely.
That would have been
wild. Yeah.
Loser, I always had a strange relationship with Loser because in, I guess, 87 at JFK, after Garcia got out of the coma, when he did Loser that night, I was looking at the screen and it just all, I was 16, it all just dawned on me at that moment that the guy was going to lose, that he was up there singing. I got no chance of losing that time, but he probably already lost at that point. And it was that in Black Peter, I was just like, God, Jerry almost died. And he's, but both of those songs, I'm like, God, they're so, it's like you're giving the finger to the Grim Reaper with.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Loser feels very like close to the Veil,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, but a classic Garcia ballad, and like a Loser in like the 3 or the 4 slot in a set 1. I love that placement. Like, to me, that's sort of signaling that like, let's not get too out there just yet, folks. Like, Garcia is going to hit you with like, something that's going to make you, reflect, right, on your own mortality.
Right. Well,
right.
Sometimes you got like the Jet or the Ramble on there. I'm glad he chose Loser.
Yeah.
Instead of one of the Europe 72 songs.
Totally, yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
It's such a great, it's like, I feel like that combined with like Deal, combined with like Candyman, there's like a story. Like Clever always talks about the trilogies and like stories in some of them. I always feel like that's kind of like the same story or that
the same guy, right? You're revisiting.
Right. Very much. And it's almost like, that same kind of character in that.
I always say it's the same sailor in Wharf Rat, Terrapin, and the guy in Days Between are all the same person.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the sailor.
Yeah. I wish I could put up, what I hate over here, Kev, is not being able to put up the comments, like Kev Bo Jones is like, the Loser grabbed me. Excellent version, emotive, completely. And then FH303, I'm a Loser fan. I've been playing it on guitar lately. That's awesome. Like, I wish I could play. That's I bet it just sounds good to be able to play that would be cool. And yes, Jerry's voice really grew into Loser. I like that late 80s and 90s versions. Yeah, I agree. Like
they need to integrate directly like YouTube does with
streaming. They do. Yeah, we need to get on that.
Would answer that. Now, what's weird to me? Before Dylan and the 86 tour with Tom Petty and Dylan and the Dead, Jerry did a bunch of Dylan tunes with Jerry Garcia Band, but the only one I can really think of is Baby Blue that they did in like 66. They really didn't do Dylan tunes until that tour, and then after that they brought all these tunes in, and some of the most brilliant readings of what Dylan did, taking those 1960s raw rough things and making it into these polished gems. And probably my favorite Phil song, even above him singing, even above Box of Rain. And I mean, I love Chain because the jam you can get out of it, but
Sure.
just
No,
beautiful.
this version I thought rocks. And really, anytime we get to hear Phil sing is just like a gift, and he like totally owns it on this version too. It's so good.
It's so good. A lot like what I mentioned about Little Red Rooster is kind of how this Tom Thumb is. Phil plays it very straight. Like he gets all the, you know, sometimes he'll futz with the lyrics a little bit and have a little bit of fun in it and be like, you know, my best friend, the drummer, wouldn't even tell me what I got, you know, and like things like that, or like change the lyrics or have a little bit of fun. And even the way he would play it sometimes, but this one felt very like in the box, very straightforward, very well done, very well composed, very well put together.
Yep.
And even thinking of, like I was telling this to Kev earlier too, that, you know, it's such a hard song anyway, because of the way the lyrics are telling the story and the way the music is playing. And then Phil is always such an odd person singing as it is. So you combine those two things together, and sometimes you're just like, I'm not quite sure how this is going to go. Like, is Phil going to be able to like nail this down and knock it out? Or like, is it going to kind of go off the rails halfway through or miss a few verses?
When we look into the future, though, we ended up with what? Childhood's End, and If the Shoe Fits, and Wave to the Wind. And I was like, now we have too much Phil.
Yeah.
We don't need a Phil song every night, trying to fill the void of Brent not being there and having a Brent tune in each set every
And I told you I wasn't a big fan of like Broken Arrow and like some of the other ones that he did.
Broken Arrow
weren't my favorite Phil tunes, but like Box obviously and Tom Thumb was always a pleasure. So
Broken Arrow has such a great lyric though, that it really carries it. I didn't want to hear If the Shoe Fits and be scolded. Whatever. We're a bunch of dirty hippies following you around, dude. Don't scold us.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
We don't need that. All right, Let It Grow for me was Vince's shining moment of the night. And I think it really showed how the two keyboard experiment could, when it worked, it really clicked. The grand piano with Vince's textures in that jam, they gave the Let It Grow enough space to, you know, let Jerry do his crazy run on it, which we all love.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah. Just
I don't think anyone's bitching about that.
Yeah. I mean, just such a great first set closer, right? Like it still moves, but it's gesturing at some of the spaces to come after the set break, right? I think it's just like so well placed here at the end.
So well placed there. Like it just it's the perfect closer. We always talk about perfect closers and whatnots and things like that. And it fits so well in that spot. You know, you're used to kind of either having a Cassidy or a Bird song around it as well sometimes, you know, especially because of the Without a Net and stuff. Like it just always makes me think of those songs together. And again, sort of like the trilogy, like it's almost like those three songs go together, and you throw a Direwolf in there as well. But God, Let It Grow with Bobby, it's just such a crusher. I love it. It's such a great.
See, I would throw Let It Grow, Eyes, Help, and Franklin's as a square in there of lyrics that all are telling this high romantic, you know, you better watch out. Like Hunter used to do this thing where he tried to come from this point of wisdom like he was 60 when he was only 30. And when he got to be 60, it totally made sense. But sometimes it was funny to me that he was like this sage. But when you think back, he wasn't that old at the time when he was writing this stuff, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Completely. Yeah. Let It Grow never disappoints, Kevbo Jones. I completely agree. And the first set sounded like they wanted an easy day. I mean, the first set was just, it was so,
they were loose.
So solid, you know, and coming off of like what we just watched months of Fish and playing Fish and like watching it was nice. Kevin and I always say this because we always do a Dead show after Fish tour because it's a nice palate cleanser and I've heard enough Fish for a while, but like it's just always so nice to come back to this because it's just they're so fucking good. Like it's just so good. This first set, everything I would put this first set up against anything on the summer tour and be like, this is what I love. Like this is my first set. Like I always tell Kevin, like, oh yeah, this first set was great, or this first set sucked, or it had like these weird moments, or like this was the part where it dropped out. You look at a Dead set and you're like, this is a fucking perfect set with no notes.
I'll take this any day of the week. So Bill had died the 25th of October. They were aware. The first night, I think the 27th, Santana came out and Gary Duncan, both came out and sat in for some of the second set. How much do you think that was weighing on them, Brian?
I mean, I think it had to have been like Bill Graham, you know, helped set such a lasting stage for the Dead, right? Like really from the very beginning.
Love-hate
And
relationship.
of course, yeah, but like they needed that kind of like, it was a push and pull, but that's like what made it work, like a little bit of tension there. They were friendly, right? But like Bill was always just kind of like, but
he
certainly
seemed like a real son of a bitch sometimes, like you could see
he-
that in him. Like he definitely had that
His
business
book is
asshole.
great. His book is
mean-
like that Sharon in the Groove almost, where it's a bunch of anecdotes. It's David Crosby telling a story. Then
I mean, I love hearing fan interactions and stories, about meeting him and how nice and great he was. But then there's also like just when he'd be on stage and just like the way he'd say things and like, "Oh, you fool, stop doing that," with that heavy accent and just like it's just so funny. The gruff.
always toting a clipboard too, just like
he was born. This is great because I had to look up what day he died. He was born Wolf Wolodia Granojanka was his birth name, and he became Bill Graham, which is easier to pronounce.
Yeah.
And much cooler.
An amazing life too. I mean, he fled Nazi Germany. Like, I mean, an amazing story. But I mean,
the Zeppelin story is great. Peter Grant was going to kill him for that Day on the Green show, and he forced him to sign something, so he signed it with his left hand, then went to court and had it nullified because he said he did it under duress. That's why he signed with his left hand.
So crazy. But no,
so
to your question, like I absolutely think that had to have been weighing on everybody's mind. I mean, because I think it's safe to say like the Dead would not have hit the level that they did without Bill Graham giving them a platform from such an early.
He was the only one. Like Chet Helms was such an acid head that he never could get the family dog together beyond a couple of years in it.
Right. Whereas like Bill Graham was like he was on top of his shit for as like prickly and tough to deal with as he could be. And he catapulted the Dead. So like it had to have been, had to have been on their minds here. And of course, like, once we get into Dark Star here, Kesey comes out and we hear a lot about all of this, right?
Right. Do you want to take Kevbo's question there?
Yeah, I'll throw it out there to you guys. So Kevbo's got a question. To get Help Slip Frank, Scarlet Fire, and Dark Star in the same show, what would be the Fish equivalent of that? And it's funny you say it because I was thinking that when I was driving, and the thing I came up with was, like I said, the Mike's
hydrogen weak
start,
right?
Right, to start.
Tweezer would have to be in there.
Right, that's your Dark Star, right? That's kind of your Dark Star jam.
Star. And what songs did they play together though all the time? Really,
that would be a back-to-back
that are huge like that.
I don't know if it would be a back-to-back. It might be something new though, right?
Twist.
Like it would be like an epic.
A really big Piper twist, because in my mind, when they play one, they seem to play the other in the same set.
Or like a Ghost Piper, or like two of those big songs combined that are theirs, like something that you wouldn't, or that you might or might not expect to go together, but then they jam together and you're like, oh, that was a sweet
Fire on the Mountain is the best two chords for my money you can get in a jam.
Totally. Oh, Yem. Yeah, Yem, Tweezer, Divided Sky. That's not bad.
Yem. Right.
Yeah. So Cassidy said 2001 for 2 hours. There you go. See, Kevin and I talking about that too, like an all jam show. No lyrics, just
no lyrics.
Jam. Jam. Like the Secret Set at Mondegreen, which is again the best thing I've ever seen.
Right. Well, we get into some really acid test spaces with this second set here. I mean, Sublime, Scarlet Fire, they came out, they did what they needed to do. I mean, it's a shining example. If you said, what's a good Scarlet Fire, and you threw this out, I think it would rank up there with other people's favorites.
I mean,
it didn't have the sweet transition of the last one that we listened to, Kev, and had that like, the 74 transition was just buttery sweet goodness that's
Right.
ridiculous and has that jam
Right,
inside
out
of
of Scar, right, the jam they went into out of
Yeah,
Scarlet,
the jam in
right,
the middle.
right.
But again, all I thought of was this one was again thinking of Fish and how Trey loves to get into the song so fast, and how this is like the exact opposite of that, and how great and patient Jerry always is at just waiting and
Jerry's like, I'll run
waiting
through the whole song, all 58 bars of the song before
Oh,
we
yeah.
and waiting and waiting, and then you get that down, 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 and you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah," you know,
Yeah.
like it
Oh,
just,
yeah.
and by the time it comes, you're like, so yes, instead of like jumping right into it and getting into like the jam in the song before starting the lyric,
Yeah.
the patience is just remarkable. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no. He's such a pro in
Yeah.
being patient. It's just like,
He
you know,
was very good.
so many younger like would just like want to like, I just need to get in that, but it's like, no, like
Right.
let's get there when we
And
get
then
there.
once they're in it is where they have the jam, right? Like they're like, let's get into it and then I'll jam. And Jerry's like, no, let's walk. Let's take the walk before we get to the jam. And then we can jam inside once we get there. But let's enjoy the stroll before we get there. And you're like, yes.
You know what's weird? Dead and Company do Scarlet longer than Fire, but the Grateful Dead always played Fire longer than Scarlet.
Much longer. Yeah. Yeah.
It's weird. I think that's one of Bobby's things. I have to change things up.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Yeah. Well, he doesn't want to give that jam and Fire away to Mayer for too long and stuff. Like he wants to keep it, you know, because he's always got him on that leash.
Chink and chink and chunk and chunk away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chink and chink, chunk, chunk.
Yeah.
I hear it, Cuff, though. I love when Jerry does that little signal to start fire.
Yep.
It's one of those great moments. Like it's just, I
good.
love it.
Man in total control.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I don't feel like even Fish gets that sometimes. I don't feel like, because you know, you have people like me there who are not willing to submit like I was with Jerry, maybe.
It almost suits the time more though, where we don't even like, we're so much more anxious and everything anyway, and like get to it. Like I don't want to wait, like get it there. And I feel like Trey plays into that a lot of times. And like I said, likes to enjoy the jam after he's in the song to start those jams instead of like letting it sort of draw out and find it. Cause he does that a lot too. And some of those great peak jams that you'll find as soon as he gets there, we rip right into something else. Like we drop into another song or something. You're like, oh man, we just got to this great peak. We could have like let this really slide for a bit and go with it. And instead, like new song, here we go again. And you're like, ah.
Truckin was just a shell of its former self, though. You listen to a 70 Truckin that had, or the Europe 72 Truckin, you know, I mean, these huge, incredible jams. This one, that they were in Spoonful before you could blink.
Totally. Yeah. There were some laughs from Bob in here too. I don't know if you guys
want to watch.
Like,
you want to take a peek at a clip of it when Gary Duncan comes out?
Yeah, like what was going on there?
Yeah. It's fascinating with Gary Duncan. He quit playing for a while, and then he started playing again in the late 80s, early 90s. He like had to break down his whole studio and sold everything and like hit some hard times and was kind of pissed off. He's like, yeah, people showed up to get their equipment, but they didn't offer to help, kind of thing. And this is one of those times that he had started to get back out there. He got Quicksilver back together, and just, I mean, such a phenomenal guitar player. I mean, you know, he knows that, right? We can all agree that he knows Spoonful, but when we get to the next clip of the Dark Star, I can't say that he's a student of Dark Star. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna read FH303's comment at 3 guitars on stage and everyone leaves space for the others. It really is a really cool, like the breathing and that them playing together really does flow really well, where it doesn't get messy and it doesn't get overstepping. It's just like so powerful, actually. Like hearing that Spoonful and having that solo in there and stuff, it's so good. Like it's
the way his guitar cuts through everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect tune for what's going on right there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And this is one of those special Halloween moments, right? Like you have a guest appearance showing up and playing like on it, which is kind of cool too, which you don't always usually get, which was a fun little, on top of everything else in this show. Okay, cool.
Yeah. For a couple tracks too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool.
Right. All right, so do we want to listen to the Into the Dark Star? I really just love this stuff. I just really want to listen to it. But let's check out the Into the Dark Star part of, or Into the Jam. It's maybe Into the Dark Star. We have 3. I have the whole Ken Kesey thing, so you guys are gonna have to hold on to your hats for that because it's like 3 minutes. All right, here we go. I should have told you, Brian, that you could have unmuted your mic and
Oh yeah, whenever you want, you can unmute it when that screen goes on, and you can talk over the video if you want.
Oh, on the video, that's cool. Good
yeah.
Damn, so good.
It is, and that whole jam. I mean, the next thing we're going to listen to is the part where they go into with Kesey. But I mean, they really get. It makes me wonder why they didn't do this all the time.
I know.
It was obviously mental memory. They knew how to do it.
The thing that I will say, one thing is, I'm surprised, like the space that doesn't exist in this with the drums and the jam and then back in the Dark Star, but it feels like there is a space in this because they have that sort of breakdown, and they actually go into the thing that I hated the most in space in the 90s, which is when it got all like a special effecty and they did like those loud like
MIDI.
Oh yeah. Shit freaked me out, man. Like that, like space freaked me out in general as it was, and I usually have to go find a heady spot and like get my shit together before coming back in. But like when that shit would hit, I freaked me out, man. Every time, especially at the indoor arenas. Outdoors, I was a little bit more okay. I can like indoors.
Oh, it's so
too much, man. Like when a dog hears a loud noise and you're like, and they like that was me every time that, and I was like, I gotta go, I gotta get out of here. I can't.
the Hunter Kevbell, the whole arena vibrating. Yes, Hunter once said that when the Grateful Dead were at their best, it was like suicide in music. Great rich drops of blood formed on the ceiling and bathed us. I was like, that is, yes, that's why you're Robert Hunter.
Yeah.
It's just,
so good.
And it totally was. All right, let's listen to this Kesey thing, and then we'll cruise on through the rest of the set. It's a long one. It's almost 4 minutes, but it's totally worth it. Totally worth watching.
That feel to it. That's funny.
Heavy. Yeah. Total acid test there. Just Kesey just rapping. Also, like he was like addressing death itself. Super
talking heavy. Like right to it. Yeah. Like, yeah.
I don't know who put that set list in there wrong. Thank you, Archive. I just copy and pasted off of Archive. So the jam should be before drums.
It was. Yeah. That's what. Yeah. Yeah. But
there
it's still
right back into a little bit of Dark Star.
Yeah.
Then the last time, I liked the last time. It was cool, but again, I felt like it was one of those. Why are you preaching? Okay, we're assholes. You know, it might be the last time, but maybe that's why we're all here. That's why I've seen the last 6 shows, because it might be the last time.
Right.
It was never one of my faves.
I was gonna say this might be my bathroom break. I might be going to the bathroom here.
I was gonna say, if there was one song that like I would pick out, like I was bitching about the Fish ones, this would be the one that I'd be like, this one kind of didn't fit right there. Like coming out of Dark Star, you kind of want something else, especially like everything that's been before it. Like it was kind of a weird, but like you mentioned, the covers. So it's an interesting that they went back to that cover, but this is the one that they chose because they went into it with the Spoonful and then came out of it with the
Bobby wanted to be Mick Jagger. What was the other one they did? It's All Over Now.
Oh yeah,
the Rolling Stones. I mean, obviously, the Dead's version borrows a lot from that 64.
And yeah, Kevbo Jones, it did get played more and more after this show. Yeah, because I remember more in the 90s, it was much more of a thing and hearing it a lot more.
Can we just take a second and say, Kevbo, why didn't you get a hold of us beforehand and we could have brought you on for a minute, or we could have recorded you talking about something?
I know. I love the interaction. Next time we do a Dead show, you need to get in here with us. Like, come on.
The next Dead show will be the end of October. The last Tuesday in October, we're going to do 10/31/80, which is a 3-set affair with the acoustic set and the end of the historic Warfield Radio City run. Yes. The Dead Ahead movie, which was my gateway into the band. All right, so then they let Gary go. They're like, "Thanks, Gary. Have a great evening." And a really solid run, even though it's not anything different than you'd get at any other Dead show around that time to close it out. But I like all those songs. The Throwaway was always probably my favorite 1-2 closer that they did, even though I called it Throwaway.
The Standing on the Moon, I mean, is always glorious, right? And this one didn't quite have the power punch that we got later with, like, or even sometimes
Man,
but even
it's out of all the Garcia ballads, that one's probably C tier. The lyric is a little, I don't need a geography lesson. Play Stella Boy.
I love it. I love the story that runs through it, though. Like when he talks about, seeing the Gulf of Mexico and then California somewhere over there. And
That's
like,
Gulf of America, sir. That would be
I
Gulf
love
of
it.
America.
I love it. I love the lyrics are so good. And then with the wrap up, the way it's just like, I'd rather be with you. Like all of this is great and beautiful, but I'd rather be with you. And that song, when he belts it and when he really gets into it, I mean, it's heavy. Like it moves you. This one didn't quite get that deep into that part of it, but it's still such a beautiful song.
Yeah. I mean, I think the placement here too, like, sort of one last sort of like, kind of touchdown before like the final swell and peak to the end of the show, I think, is like, we needed something like this here. Also, they're on their home turf, so like, somewhere in San Francisco on a back porch, and like,
there were what, maybe 6 songs, Jerry tunes that you'd get in this spot: Stand In, Black Peter, Wharf Rats, Stella, China Doll, maybe like It Comes a Time. Later you got Days Between showed up, which was so welcome. I could do a whole 3-hour talk on Days Between, but that's another story.
Both these songs, it's funny, the last time and Standing on the Moon, like you said, Kev, this is where sometimes you would get like the other one, Wharf Rat, or like, which is really the one you really want, especially coming out of the Dark Star. Right. And that's where this would have like really blown this show completely apart. As if you got something like that.
2 different shows I saw. Other one, Wharf Rat, Throwing Stones, Not Fade Away, Out of Space.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of
like, on the tape, I was so mad. When I got the tape, I was being salty. I wrote other one, etc.
Oh. Damn.
Ouch.
Ouch.
What the hell? Because what would I not kill for that at this moment?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know what you got till it's gone. Throwing Stones, good for Bobby. It's always amazing to me that in '83 they had Touch and Throwing Stones, and it took them 4 years before they released the album. They could have released an album in '83, probably. Maybe West LA, Esau might have existed then. Maybe it didn't exist till '85. I don't know. But Bobby just, they always tried to be, Brian, tell me if I'm wrong here. They always seem to try to be anti-political. Like New Speedway was as close as they got to politics, and they never played it from 71 until 92 or whenever they busted it back
for out. Sure. Yeah, they were never like an overtly political band, but if you read between the lines, like you can see where they're coming from and where they could stand on things, right? But yeah, they always wanted to be sort of like, I guess, sort of cryptic in like anything that they're presenting. That could even
I've
be
taken that to heart. I try to do that.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny though with Throwing Stones, like the way Garcia plays his little like his descending licks. Like my mind immediately always goes to Althea.
Nice.
Which is to say, like, I'll take an Althea over a Throwing Stones like any day of the week. That's not a fair comparison, but like my mind just like always goes there when
doesn't the solo in Touch do that? Start high and then go low.
It does, yeah. Like, and that's something that was like in his vocabulary. He did that, but like, there's something about when I hear it in Throwing Stones, I'm like, it makes me, I'm like, I want an Althea here.
I love Throwing Stones because it was a big Bobby yelling, and you could be like, fuck yeah, fuck the power, man.
It was, yeah. And like, we need that we need that right now. Yeah,
I love it. In
More than ever.
Bristol, the last time Dead and Company toured, the dude who runs the Fed was there, whatever that asshat's
Oh,
name
yeah,
is.
right.
And
Powell.
I walked by him and gave him the finger. People gave me a hard time. They're like, he's ahead. I'm like, yeah, but anyway, they did Throwing Stones that night, which I
And
found.
I think I always like about late 80s touring Stones are epic. I always like yes, Kev, they are like it's funny. They are. I like the end of that song when he kind of puts almost like the rap together at the end and has like the whole, and like breaks it all down and goes through everything and like politicians, and does it. I love that little because it's almost like a speech, right? It's almost like that political anti-politic like speech almost, but put to music and that part of the song I always like. The rest of the song I'm always like, oh god.
And then it drops, and the way it drops, and then they're like, dun dun.
Yeah,
and the lights come on. There's your white light moment.
Right. And the thing is, it Not Fade Away is the perfect song out of that, right? Because like it sets it up so well, like it's right there with the drums.
And the crowd actually did the chant.
They did
afterwards. Like they tried to do it. They did Not Fade Away somewhere, Dead and Company, and no one did the chant afterwards. We watched one show, and I was like, people don't even remember that you're supposed to clap off beat and sing Not Fade Away.
Yep.
Werewolves was a rarity. In the times they played it, but also in the fact that the first time they did it, it was basically in the top 40, right? Back in 78 at Red Rocks when they first played it. I feel like that song, Excitable Boy, couldn't have been more than a year old, if it was even a few months old at that point. So I always found it fascinating. And then that thing surfaced with Garcia doing Accidentally Like a Martyr years later as an outtake from one of the, I guess, the Run for the Roses album, probably would be the only one that made sense for that. But that connection there, I absolutely love it. And then Garcia sat in with on Transverse City. Have you ever heard that album by Warren Zevon? Garcia plays on a track.
Damn.
Yeah. Transverse City. The strange relationship there and fun,
Yeah, I mean, as per Halloween tradition here, right? They like
it's obvious, but it's cool.
It's
even if it's obvious.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if it's obvious, it's like sometimes you got to play the obvious song.
Right.
You have to. Yeah.
It's the perfect closer. And it's funny. I didn't even put together the playing in England the year before on Halloween. So it just makes it so funny that this wraps up the following year and like kind of has that through line through to it. And
for sure,
it's such a special song to get in that spot. Halloween. They sound great every time they go into like it's such a I love Jerry singing it. It's so different than Warren, obviously, and the way he sang it. I love the way Jerry kind of changes it and makes it kind of his own and kind of like slows it down a little bit and tells a little bit more of the story like he does with a lot of his songs. And it's so great. It's perfect ending to this show too. Like
perfect ending.
It really is.
So Brian, where am I picking up a copy of your book? Where do you want someone to go to get a copy of your book?
I mean, I am always in support of picking up the book at your local, support your local bookstore. But you can really get it anywhere books are sold. So, wherever you're comfortable purchasing books is cool with me.
Do you have a website of your own? Can they get it directly from you or?
I don't. But I should have a website.
Because then you can do the sign thing. Get a signed copy.
Right.
But anyone who, you can anyone who
hunt
does
you down and say sign my book, damn it.
I'm easy to hunt down. And if you find me, DM me. My DMs are open on socials.
You were on Blue Sky. You were over on Blue Sky.
Yeah, like find me, hit me up if you want a signed copy. I will sign
there
it.
You go.
But yeah, wherever books are sold, support your local, but bookshop.org is great too. You can get it there.
But no to Amazon.
Amazon is they carry
touchy
right?
subject.
But
if you have credit with Amazon, pick up the book on Amazon.
Right.
I got that $200 credit limit over on Amazon, right? I need shampoo. Go grab that book.
And I will add too that like I know we talked a little bit about like the the sort of the Space Jam segment in this show sort of coming out of Dark Star. But like for a Halloween show, I think this is sort of like, this is like my final kind of takeaway here. I think like for a Halloween show, that Spacey Jam, I think was kind of the peak of this whole show for me. It was sort of like, welcome to the haunted house of your mind.
Yes.
You know, like it's like you get like, we get like bells tolling. I think Garcia is even sitting in doing almost like some Spanish jam type, like kind of bleeding at points. Like it's really freaky and awesome. But to your point, T, like, you know, an indoor venue, I can only imagine just like really freaking out. But it's a scary passage of out there noise. And like being a Halloween show, like when I was listening through a few times, I'm like, I think this is it here. I think this is the peak for me, just getting completely freaky, going into the haunted house, Hall of Mirrors type zone and just like freaking out.
Totally. And it's one of those, like, you're, you know, when you're stuck on the middle of the floor and there's nowhere to go and you're just like, oh crap, man, I gotta ride this out because I can't get out of here right now. And you're just like, and then you're just hoping whatever they drop into after that is something wonderful and beautiful.
Land me.
Yeah, just land. Yeah.
Yes.
Land
so
me.
then to go back into Dark Star there, you're like, yes. You know, and then to go in the last time, it actually works because it's such a happier, upbeat song. You know, you're like, okay, this is what I needed here. Whew, okay.
Totally.
You know,
I know.
like,
Yeah, you go through the whole cycle there.
Yes.
I feel like that you could fit Truckin' through the Dark Star out of space on a 45-minute on one side of a tape, and that would probably be your best takeaway from the whole show.
Yeah.
I mean, Scarlet Fire was solid. First set was really solid, but if you want to know the potential of the Grateful Dead at this moment, when they were how many people they have at that time? Mine is scary. They were 7 people, right?
7.
They were the Magnificent 7 with Bruce.
Yeah. Right.
We need to put their faces on the horses from that movie.
And really, Kev, that stretch is sort of what you would want from the Halloween in the show, like Brian was just saying. Like this gives you that Halloween-y sense of the spooky and all of that in that stretch from Truckin' through that is that section of the show. So
you probably
got a little bit of everything.
Probably end up putting Last Time on there and squeeze it in. Maybe not. I didn't look at what it was. All right, so tomorrow night we'll be around for Liv, but Liv is going to be pre-recorded, but I'm going to be in the chat hanging out. So that's how that's going to work because T has something to do and we still wanted to knock that out. I'm pulling T tooth and nail into doing something Friday too here on Volume for members. So if you want to become an all access member, you figure it out, use Moon Cabin, get that free month. And and
hey, thanks for showing up, Kevbo Jones. Honestly, if you want to come on next time, any of you guys over there on the chat, any of you guys want to come on next time, we're doing Fish in 2 weeks, and then after that in 4 weeks, it'll be the Dead again.
The Fish Halloween show we chose is November 2nd, 1998.
Oh, yes. Enjoy that. Enjoy that. I love that we chose
the best
that
Halloween show that they ever did, probably. There wasn't on Halloween.
But thanks, Cassidy. Thanks to FH303, Kevbo Jones, obviously. DMM is in there.
Just give them the type in the email.
Dune Farmer, thanks. What?
Type in the email for him. wookplus@proton.me.
I'll do that. Wook. What is it?
wookplus@proton.me.
.me. There you go. You can email us here and send us requests for shows down the road for next month too. If there's something you want to listen to, and then you'd be willing to come on and talk about it, let us know. We'd be happy to do that
too. The Discord exists.
Yes, and go check out Brian's book if you have not read it.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for? Like,
fantastic. Just
Wall of Sound, man, and it'll make you want to go listen to Wall of Sound shows like we did last time, and it adds a little bit extra to it because suddenly you're like, oh, this was what he was just talking about, or oh yeah, I remember. Like, it's so much more fun. That it's great. It's so cool.
Brilliant treatment of it from somebody who's casually interested. You can read through it. It's written that you don't have to invest that much in it to get through it. But on the other side, for nerds like us, or for even someone who isn't into the Dead and interested in sound and concerts and the evolution of that, I mean, it touches so many bases, Brian. Fantastic piece of work.
Yes, and even when we interviewed you, it was fascinating talking about the sound and how things that they invented are now commonplace for bands and things, which is amazing.
I always wondered about the mic. You explained the mic that had the
double mic,
so
double-headed microphone.
Right, yeah.
So
and I never realized that was them, because you saw other people use it afterwards. And
totally. Yeah. No, they broke so much ground. It's so crazy.
It's so crazy. Is that the speaker just over your right shoulder? Right there it is.
There's the speaker.
Check it out.
I love it.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's great.
Hang out. It's cool.
You should be the speaker for Halloween.
Ooh, now we're talking.
All right,
you need to just get a bunch of your friends and each build you need to build it.
Right, you could be the wall. You could be the wall.
This is a great group.
People be like, "What are you?" You're like, "We're the wall of sound," and then you're like, "Form," and you can like transform into it.
And one guy could get to be the bell in the middle, the one above Kreuzman.
That's so good. How have I never thought of this before? This is such a good idea.
Jones, your band's about to release an LP.
So good.
Nice. You bet FH303 tune in next
year
time
Fish
too.
will be playing Colorado for Halloween. So
there we go.
The rumor is.
When you're watching this, when it drops on YouTube, make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you think if you watch this after. And if you're watching it live, you should have left a comment already, because I was sitting there with you in the future watching it.
There you go. Kevbo Jones Band about to release an LP in November of Bluegrass. That's fun. Oh, tough to check that out. Let us know when that comes out. And of course, FH303. This was fun. Anytime, man. Like, let us know if you have a favorite show you want us to review, and you can come on and talk about it with us. So
we're gonna drag Brian on again sometime. Probably
definitely
on a Wednesday for Live, when we can talk about things outside of the Dead, some other stories.
Anytime.
Yeah, man, absolutely. It's so good hanging with you. It's so much fun. It's so much fun talking Dead. Like, I mean, this was an hour and we just flew through it, and we can talk Dead for hours.
We can just keep going.
Give me the thumbs up, T.
All right, Brian. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to say?
Thank you so much for having me. Loud and Clear, the book. Check it out. There it is.
Get the book.
And be well, everybody.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Hang on for a sec for us.
Yeah, hang out afterwards. Kev, run it.
All right.
See you guys.
What's up, dog?